All set?
And I have Greg's stuff.
All set?
Judith just double checked that they started the audio. And another thing that we do in this meeting is to do live stream. So they're actually playing on YouTube, we're playing the meeting live, so we can record it right away. Just like Ruthie. Are we, Judith, we're good? Okay, we're good.
Welcome, everybody, to the February ADA Accessible Committee meeting. Would everyone please rise and so we can say the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Did everyone who is here today get a copy of the minutes and go through them? Are there any corrections or anything you'd like to add? No? Okay. We have a presentation this morning on the Florida Avenue Route 1 bus stop consolidation plan. And Ms. Feliciano, if you'll come forward, we'll take your report.
Well, she's, that's the report we're not doing today? So it's the entire report?
I thought she said this.
Yeah, Lisa's gonna talk to us about the quarterly safety training.
All right.
In place. I apologize, Mr. Willits is ill today, so he wasn't able to join us, but Ms. Feliciano has some great news for us.
Good afternoon. I just wanted to come here and mention that at HART, I'm the manager of training and development for HART, so we do a lot of training to our operators, and I have received some feedback through comments and the C-Click Fix on some wheelchair securement issues. So this past month, we conducted 17 sessions, which covered about 460 operators on wheelchair securement. So we did demonstrations, hands-on, and we opened the floor for people that need extra training to come back to us and do hands-on workshops with them. So know that those things are being addressed.
I have a comment. I ride the bus a lot. I'm getting a lot of drivers, and I know I emphasize using the seatbelts a lot. What they're doing is, because they know me, they automatically put the seatbelt on, but they forget to tie the wheelchair down. And I have to keep telling them to come back and do it. So if you'll, sort of remind them. Yes. I mean, I remind them, but they're so concerned about the seatbelt now that they're forgetting to tie the wheelchairs down.
Yeah, we will continue to remind them and to let them know. We've had quite a lot of new operators, and these go through an extensive wheelchair securement class. They spend a lot of time. It's a full day of them learning how to secure the wheelchairs and then practicing with one another up and down outside on the buses. So we will continue to remind them.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
Yeah. Can you also remind them that some pages have the hotline, yellow, that we want to put those tabs in the loop and not on the chair?
Yes, that was stressed during this past training. The last training session was on Monday, so for the last couple of weeks we've been talking about that. So they hopefully going forward they should know to use the strap.
I really want to tell the trolley guy that too. The trolley guy.
Yes, they went through the training as well, and so did Paratransit. So all operators went through this training. Yeah. Anything else? Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have Carmen now, so now we can approve the minutes.
Okay. Let's go back to approval of the minutes. Hope everybody's read them. Any additions or corrections? If not, could I have a motion to approve them?
I'll move.
Gloria, second with
Second.
David. All in favor? Say aye. Approved. Well, I guess the next one is my report. When I'm out and around, people are stopping me and talking to me not only about HART Plus and fares, how to get places, and so I'm pleased about that. People are getting to know that, we're out there and, they're asking questions and I refer them to wherever they need to go. The one concern was Medicare cards for the discount fares. Evidently, some of the new drivers are saying we don't use them anymore. I've had 2 complaints about that of gentlemen that ride my route, Route 38, that have come from, one of them came from Route 36, and evidently was a brand-new driver. I gave him the schedule, and it's on the schedule, and I told him, yes, we're still using it, and is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. The announcements need to be updated, especially at Hillsborough and 56th, Net Park and Brandon Mall. They're not including all the buses, or they're especially at Brandon Mall, they're still using 60 and 360 LX in the announcements. I don't know, I generally take Route 6, 37, 38, 39, and 46, so those are the ones that I know about. I don't know about the rest of the county. David, I'm going to sort of dump on you.
Okay.
It's every time I try to call in, it's 30, 40, 50 times before somebody answers. And I know you're updating the system, and I try calling like every 5-10 minutes, and it's still that long. So I don't know, you said you're going to, hire more people on that, so.
It's a major concern.
Yeah.
I can tell you, from my office, I see all the lines and they're just lit constantly. Okay, so, and what's happening is that when somebody calls in now, if it goes, it just sends you automatically back to the same recording. Okay, so what's going to happen with the new system is that you will actually go into a queue. It will answer in order of that queue. And if you're in the queue for more than 1 minute, it will send you to a backup call center that we're hiring.
Okay. And if it doesn't happen, we'll contact you?
Well, absolutely. I mean, believe me, I'll know because I hear about it. It's a problem that we understand and we address, and we've thrown a lot of manpower on it, and it just amazes me. I throw 3 more CSRs out there, I mean, it doesn't even make a difference.
Yeah.
The volume just keeps increasing. But we are aware of it, and like I said, that's why we made a decision to bring the call center completely back from Fort Lauderdale to here. And we'll be doing it all in-house. And we're going to open it with 16 CSRs. Right now, we're using 10. But when we're done with construction, we'll go to 16, and we'll have the ability to go to 24.
Okay.
But that is I hear it every day, and I get it.
Okay, because I'm using the cab quite a bit to get, like, especially for my Brandon appointments, so that gets to be a hassle from time to time, so, but I'm glad of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
David, can you give us an update at the next meeting of when your call center will be fully operational?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Right now, as construction goes, I have to give Fort Lauderdale, who is now doing it, a time frame where we're just going to flip the switch and it's all going to be cut off from down there, and it will all be routed down here. So I'm trying to get that done by the middle of next month is the objective.
Okay, so it's fairly soon.
Yeah.
Okay. At the beginning of this month, I tried to attend the Diversity Advisory Council. Several years ago, Ruthie asked me to attend their initial summit conference at USF. Needless to say, the February meeting didn't come off, so I have found out that there will be a March meeting, and I really do want to go to that and maybe bring some ideas back and maybe share, some ideas that, I'm going through, and maybe we can get something going there if that's possible. That's all I have. Okay, HART Plus and Customer Choice Voucher Program update, Ms. Green.
Thank you. Mine is pretty quick as well. Greg sent me the numbers for our ridership numbers for Paratransit and the Customer Choice Program. So for Paratransit, we had in January 17,330 trips. That was a 3.4 increase from the same time last year. And for our Customer Choice, which is ran by Yellow Cab, we had 7,765 trips for January, and that was a 12.5% increase from the previous year. But that's all I have for today.
Comments from anybody, questions?
I want to comment on on the safety back to the wheelchairs, because obviously it's a big issue for us too, okay? And what I am finding is that a lot of times it's not the training, it's the follow-through of the driver, okay? They get complacent, and then they don't follow through with it. So our idea is to have spot checkers out in zero tolerance, okay? Because there's just no excuse for it, and it happens. And that's what we've decided to do, is hire a person to go out and spot with zero tolerance. Does Heartline have a spotter that goes out?
We don't have a specific spotter that goes out. We address the issues as they're brought to our attention. We obviously do have onboard video, so if something has come up, we can revert back to reviewing video and retraining an operator if necessary. I think we serve this county too broadly with too many buses and vans throughout the day to really have one spotter to be able to address that kind of an issue.
Yeah.
We do, as Jalice Feliciano mentioned, our retraining and quarterly safety trainings include that kind of thing. And you're right, operators can become either complacent, forgetful, or maybe even hurried when they're moving in traffic and they have so many responsibilities as they're addressing other questions and loading a customer and getting in their route. And we have some new operators, so it's not always the new operators. We also have some more seasoned, I won't call them older operators, seasoned operators that have fallen back into that category as well, but we do not have spot checkers. However, when it is brought to our attention, we certainly counsel operators and we bring them in for retraining when necessary.
And most of the time, a lot of the clients that know who run the bus lots should be watching the driver when they do it.
Okay.
Because you can forget to do it. Because you do something a day. You may forget to do one time, you may forget to do something. What I always do, I always watch the driver. No matter who is the hard driver or you gotta get them. So if they forget, I want to remind them before they get in that thing. You forgot to do this side, or you forgot to put the thing on. We can't always, remember things. Well, you as a wheelchair user should know if you're using the cab or using the hot bus, you drive years, you know there's 4 times, you know the seatbelt comes from the left to the right. You're watching that, if you see them do anything else, they'll stop them and say, wait, this is not right, you gotta do it this way. Now, if the driver doesn't want to listen or complain and say, I'll do it my way, then you need to call and let them know what's going on.
Thank you, Arizona.
Okay. Next item is bus stop at updates. Mr. Brown?
Afternoon, everyone. How you doing?
Good.
I'm Dwayne Brown. I'm with the PMO office. She's got it. Slides that come up here. Again, I'm Dwayne Brown with the Project Management Office. I'm the Program Manager for the Basic Transit Infrastructure Program. And today I'm going to go over a couple of some of the projects what we have going on. Here's an overview of what I'm going to be covering today. We have a total of 18 projects what we're currently working on. We have 4 in construction, 6 in design, and 8 in permitting. So for our construction projects, we have the Gibsonton and Louis Bay Road project, which I'm happy to say we have completed. We have some before and after shots here from the north and the east side of Gibsonton Drive, and that's out in Gibsonton near the Walmart out there. So we're going to move that bus stop that they have that's actually in the Walmart parking lot, and we're going to move that out to Gibsonton Drive so that we can better serve that stop. The next project that we have, so the next project we also completed is North Himes at Bush Boulevard. So we completed two bus stops there on the east and the west side there. You can see the photos from the completion right there. We are waiting to get a couple of shelters so we can get put in there, but those stops are up and operational and ready to go. We have some more construction here. A couple of snaps from our mayor and transit project, what we're doing. If you've been out there, you've seen a whole bunch of stuff that's going on out there. This is the Morgan side. They actually have a before shot, and then they completed it. They restructured that whole thing. They're now working on the Fortune Street side. They're waiting. They're getting rebar in there, and then they're going to pour concrete, and then they're going to be finishing up with that and then moving on over to the Marion side. But that project is moving along right on schedule.
And on this side, you had a couple of ramps, right? And some.
Say again?
You added a couple of ramps and
yes.
crosswalks and
yes,
all that. So it's looking really nice.
It looks really nice. They did a good job. They added they did a good job of adding making it more ADA accessible. And then that's another project what we did out in out at our park and ride out in this is out by Wesley Chapel, and this was I didn't have a before shot because a before shot it would have been completely dark, but but we added in some solar lights at this park and ride out here, and it lit up really well, and it is the customers were asking for it, and we delivered on that. With our design projects, we have 6 projects in design. Causeway and Falkenberg, State Road 60, which is Brandon Boulevard and Renton Road. We have Del Mabry Highway at Kennedy Boulevard, 22nd Street at Henry Street, and Tampa Street at Kennedy Street, and Armenia at Hibbett Road. We have 8 projects in permitting, which means that the design is done. We send them over to the city for them to permit them and for us to so that we can begin construction when we get money. Those are Dale Mabry at Beta Bay Boulevard and Orient Road near the fairgrounds. We have Orange Road at Stall Road 60, which is Brandon Boulevard at Strawberry Ridge, Tampa Street at Fortune Street, Causeway Boulevard, and Highway 301, Rome Avenue and Hillsborough Avenue, and Lumsden at Providence. And just to note, South Dale Mabry and Bay to Bay, as soon as we get that one out of permitting, that's going to go immediately to construction. That's all that I have for today.
You're the one at Gibsonton at Walmart. Is there going to be a crosswalk and walk lights or?
There's a crosswalk already there.
Oh, okay.
What about the new 15 off Palatine Drive and Florida?
Which stop again?
Columbus Drive in Florida.
Columbus Drive in Florida.
The whole area needs to be looked at.
So right now, along Florida Avenue, they have that the new they're going to be doing the respacing of that, and so a lot of our projects, what we have that go along that Florida corridor, they're going to fix during the time when they fix the that corridor. They're going to do some respacing and everything. So all our BTI projects, we're waiting. We have them on hold because we don't want to put something in and then we have to pull it out. They tear it out because they're going to be doing some construction on that road.
Now that's on Florida side. What about the Columbus side?
On the Columbus side, I will look into it and then I will see. I can try to. What I would do is I'll look and see what we can do to fix that, and then I'll try to get it into design. Currently, I don't have a whole lot of money to do a whole bunch of things right now, but I will definitely look into it.
Because I know that you guys go far out. You go to Zinty, you go to Animal Drive, you go to Vandy. That's looking like in the house. Columbus Drive, Tampa, Florida, all out. You can look at about 15, all 6, 9. Look at them over.
Yes, so we've had some comments on that the Route 15 that runs down Columbus there, and we've been looking into how to better space those routes and also get some of those routes and get to fix a lot of the issues what we have in there. Again, we're waiting on funding. Currently, we're getting ready to place out a construction whenever we can get some money, and we want to do a construction contract where we are able to build to do like routes. We're able to say, hey, I want to do this route and fix these stops at this route, and then we get the construction to go out and just fix a whole entire route at one time. And so that's what we are planning for down the line. It's just that we're waiting on the money to come in.
Because I can tell you right now, there's Route 18 and Route 9, on 15 and the 15th Street and 21st Avenue. I was in the road job, and someone's gonna fall. There's a big old the sidewalk where the bus had to let the lift down. There's a hole there, someone's gonna fall.
Okay, well, I will go about and I will look at that and I will try to get those. Those will be on my top priority to get those rectified. But the BTI goal is to have all the stops fixed, 100% fixed. Since I took over the program from Dan, and his top priority was fixing all the stops, and my top priority is fixing all the stops and getting everything to getting all 2,200 stops completely ADA accessible and completely fixed, so that because the bus stops are our first impression to to the community of Tampa, and we want to make a good impression.
You can call me if you need my help. Okay.
Any more questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have anybody in the audience who would like to speak? No?
Looking at Kevin.
No? All right, let's go around and see if anybody here would like to add something. David?
No, I'm good.
I have a question. I received an email from the Florida, supposed to be a way of paying your fare for the bus, the regular bus. And I wrote back to it, but I said, hi, I'm glad to hear from you, but nothing else.
Okay.
I'm just wondering what's going on with it.
The Flamingo project, which is the new way to manage your fares on our fixed route, is moving to the first phase of live testing, if you will, with real customers and real dollars associated. We had beta testing in the past where they were provided with a card to tap and go. There wasn't real money exchange between the customer and HART, but we are signing up customers to test. I think it goes through the end of February. The call center is, managing any calls coming in from customers related to those, and I think they were looking for 250 or 75 folks to sign up to test.
Tell them
Yeah.
I want to be
Okay.
testing.
I did give them, because you guys had shown interest in the past meetings.
Right.
So I did give you guys' names and phone numbers, and so probably, I don't know if they reached out and they got your email, but they were gonna reach out to you guys to see if you guys wanted to test. But yeah, we were really excited because it's the first time everybody's testing it with real money. And so, we're talking to everybody about fare capping, and we're just doing the testing right now so we can get ready for the real launch.
So they will take my credit card if I give it to them?
What you would do is, at a transit center or online, and right now I think they're only doing it at the transit centers, you can go and they can load up, the card for you, so you can tap it. Or you could do the app as well. So there's an option of using the app or the tap card. When we launch it in the future, you're gonna be able to do it in a couple of different ways, like over the phone. Right now, you can't do it over the phone. But yeah, if you go to a transit center, they can take your card and load fare for you.
So go to one of the centers?
Yeah, either the Marion Transit Center or the University Area Transit Center. But I will have them reach out to you, because right now they were doing it for a selected group, and you guys are on the list, but if you're emailing back and you didn't hear from them, I'll make sure I reach out to them to see what happened and follow up on those calls and those emails.
I'm ready.
Awesome,
to
great.
just put my money into it to see if it's a lot better to be able to do that than to have to wait, get on the bus, find your money, and I'm look forward to this. I use the bus most every day to go home.
Great.
And
we're really looking forward to the fare capping. So what happens with the fare capping is, we have a lot of customers that don't have the money to buy a month pass. They'll buy a pass every day. But now with this tap card, if you as you use it, you're earning your monthly pass. So as you pay every day, it's like a pay-as-you-go monthly pass. So when you reach the cost that would have cost you for a month, you ride the rest of the month for free. So it's going to be great for the customers that didn't have the money up front to buy those monthly passes.
That's good.
Yes, it's really good.
So they're going to be able to go online and reload them?
They can either set a threshold in which it goes to your credit card and charges, kind of like your toll pass
Okay.
would do right now, or you can set it where you go manually reload it.
That's a great.
And they do that for Hub Love too?
Excuse me?
HART Plus.
HART Plus is in the next iteration of Flamingo. It is not in this iteration, but there may be other solutions that the agency may be able to implement that wouldn't be a part of Flamingo that was more appropriate on para. But we have a lot of projects that are sort of on limbo mode at the moment. The Flamingo piece would take us longer to implement on para than looking at other opportunities that may be a quicker solution for para. Work in the same way, but it wouldn't be a tap and go card per se. So.
Next? No, nothing. Arizona?
How long is the level working on the tracks? On the
Streetcar?
yeah.
So the streetcar construction, and I'll call it phase 1, is about to end on February 28th. So all of the bus shuttles that we have been running into connecting the customers from here in Ybor along to the further south along the line will actually be completed by February 28th. There were other sections of the track that we'll be working on, but that hasn't even been scheduled yet, and likely looks like the summer to fall of next year. The current process that we were going through was replacing rail ties that were critically aged and, if you will, dry rotted, they're wood, they needed replacement. So we've done that. They're over the major portion of that. They've completed, I forget the number, 700. Dwayne's still here? How many?
I think 9 something, I have to get you.
900 or so different wood rail ties, which are, they were embedded in the track, some of it in concrete. And so there was a lot of work that needed to be done in some areas due to sediment runoff and drainage issues that now have been repaired. It looks great in the areas that it was, and fortunately, we still saw ridership grow in the way that it has been growing. So folks still rode, even though they had to make those connections with the buses in order to complete the trip. And so that'll be done on the Friday the 28th. And then we'll resume regular service 7 days a week, no more transfers. Yeah.
There was a lot getting on the drive.
Yeah. It was burdensome time, and we used a lot of bus resources there to support the streetcar during those times. But we always opened it on the weekends, Friday nights after 6 p.m., most days by 6 p.m. Once the main track opened, it was back open for full service. And then during the holidays and Gasparilla weekend and all of that, we didn't close for those days to make sure we weren't impactful to events. So.
And how the drivers that you got in the crash? I was there when it happened. Is that okay?
On the streetcar, the operator is okay, I believe, on light duty at this point. He'll be returning soon.
Are the streetcars accessible?
The streetcars are accessible because all of our stations are accessible. They have a high block where they board through, and they can seat up to four wheelchairs per streetcar.
I think it really adds character to Tampa.
Yes,
I do
it
as well.
does.
No, Karen?
No?
Nothing, Carmen, you sure?
Happy to be here.
No, and I think, the next service markup that will adjust some of our schedules, and they're very minor tweaks, is on March 22nd. You really won't see any significant changes to schedules that should impact you. I think the largest or the significant change is that Route 31 into the Walmart on Gibsonton Drive. We no longer will go into the Walmart. We'll be serving it in those street side bays that you saw in those wonderful pictures Mr. Brown showed us. We are going to undergo a little bit of a marketing campaign for the customers that use that, because it does create a little bit of a walk from the street side down through the paved path up to the Walmart. So we want to make sure folks give themselves enough time to get to there and to the southbound trip, which would need them to cross at the intersection. It is a signalized cross there. So that's one major, and then there's just a small change in the routing coming out of the airport for the 275 and the 360? 60, I always get confused. And the 60, they were coming out of the airport and jumping onto the interchange and getting onto 275 north. Instead, they're going to go across Spruce to West Shore. And so they'll Cypress to West Shore, and they'll kind of jog their way back to Marion Transit Center.
Okay.
So it actually adds some stops rather than to say that there were any significant changes to anyone losing a stop. It just takes us out of the traffic pattern trying to merge onto 275, especially in peak traffic. And that's all I have.
Kimberly?
Back to Kim.
No? Well, our next meeting will be May, right?
Yes, ma'am.
The third Thursday in May. I don't have the exact date in front of me. Yes, I'm sorry.
I did have one question. So our office is located over on Cypress and Rio, where all of the construction is going to be taking place for the new 275. But how do you go about getting a sheltered area for those stops? Like, I have wheelchairs sitting there in the rain all the time. I have a flex stop and I have a regular stop without shelter, without seats as well.
Well, adding a shelter or stop gets onto the priority list. Mr. Brown was discussing before, and we can get with you to talk about those stops after this meeting so that we can get them at least on his radar to look at that. Thank you for that.
In the meantime, do you have a little, when people get on the hot road?
What would part?
Somebody out there holding an umbrella in the rain.
With an umbrella? Yeah. So a lot of the time what happens when people leave our organization is they will just stay under our covered portico and then have to go to the bus. But it's from here to that front desk. So for my individuals that are in wheelchairs, it's quite a hike to be able to get there, but that's the only option to stay out of the rain at that point.
Right.
And this is McDonald's,
McDonald's anything? Yeah.
We'll get you, Mr. Brown, so at least we can get that on the list. I don't know how soon we could project something out there, but
I mean,
certainly.
anything is better than not.
Right, at least get on the
So,
list.
Getting on the list is better than not being on the list.
That's right. Agreed.
Right.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any other discussion? Could I have a motion to adjourn?
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned.
So this is this a shorter meeting?